I'm going to 100% Pokemon Scarlet and Violet the Indigo Discs Pokedex, become the champion of Blueberry Academy, beat every quest, and so much more. Our journey begins with meeting this cross-eyed fellow.
I'm Bobby Mom.
Doi. Anywho, this is Director Cyrano of Blueberry Academy, and one of his students, that being Carmen, recommended me to be an exchange student at their school. It looks nice and all, but I can't help but think it used to be the prison complex from Andor, with it being mostly underwater. This know-it-all then appears, stating that it's because it's attached to an undersea plant that develops natural resources. Meet Lacey, a second-year student, a member of the Blueberry Academy's Elite Four, and plays hard to get. She explains they specialize in double battles at the academy, then challenges me to an introductory fight. Little did she know, I had a team of level 100s in my pocket, and a ginormous Blood Moon Ursaluna that filled most of the screen. It was an easy battle, of course, and I earned a Blueberry Academy uniform for winning. Lacey compliments my good looks, then takes me to their Terarium. This park under the sea has 4 biomes: the subtropical savanna biome, the tropical coastal biome, the rugged canyon biome, and the snowy polar biome. But best of all, self-checkout healing machines.
It's about time.
Oh yeah, and there's a core that lets us terrestrialize here, yada yada yada. I start to gather a team of Terarium native Pokemon since my party when I got here was way over leveled. During my exploration, I sat in on a class talking about regional forms, and am then tasked with catching an Alolan Pokemon. I go for this Alolan Muck because of its amazing Poison Dark typing, making it only weak to ground attacks. I ended up with these 6 Pokemon. Lacey gives an overview of Blueberry Academy's BBQs. No, not the delicious barbecues, or the giant barbed cues Squidward likes to hold. They stand for Blueberry Quests that get you Blueberry points in return. Afterwards, Carmen calls me up. She tells me to meet her at the Central Dome and to not keep her waiting if I know what's good for me. Oh, classic Carmen. I head straight there to not keep the lady waiting, where I find her talking to the most stiff person I've seen in my entire life. Like, what's with her arms being stuck to her sides? You have a freaking pocket watch in the year 2023? Whatever. Carmen, let's have a reuniting battle. And to my surprise, they actually weren't kidding about the whole story being filled with double battles. However, her Pokemon are level 74, and mine aren't even close to that. So of course I lose, then grind them all up to level 70. They still have a ways to go and get intimidated right off the bat from Mightyena, but I think they can pull this off. Venomoth isn't affected by the attack drop, so he one-shots Mightyena with Bug Buzz, then falls to a single Beak Blast from Toucanon. Carmen continues to be annoying by weakening my Muck with yet another Intimidate Mon, that being Scrafty. At this point, I had to pull Muck out temporarily in exchange for Crocodile. Chansey was essentially death fodder since Carmen only had one special attacker, but this gave Muck a safe way to rejoin the fight. The brawl continues to get ugly with my Crocodile getting crushed by Brick Break, and Muck dumping a Gunk Shot on the Toucan. I terrestrialize my Flygon next, as does Carmen with her Sinistcha. The attacks then go as follows: Flygon using Dragon Claw, Sinistcha stun sporing us back, Scrafty jabbing with Ice Punch, and Muck throwing Gunk. The turn after that, Flygon faints, as does Scrafty. With it now being 2 versus 1, Tauros finishes the reunion with a Raging Bull, triggering Carmen's anger once again. Are you kidding me? What? Was this assignment too hard for you too? Who the heck was that? You don't hear people yelling often in Pokemon. Wait a minute, is that Kieran? How come he looks so different? And why is he being such a jerk? Carmen says he hasn't been the same since their trip to Kitakami, but her exposition is interrupted by a fellow student named Drayton. Carmen claims he's a bozo and that he's the worst, which probably means he's actually a good guy. In fact, he used to be the strongest trainer at the Blueberry Academy until Kieran took the champion title from him. Drayton invites me into their league club, describes how it operates, and that he's an Elite Four member himself. Carmen, however, did not make the cut. And I'm sorry, but I'm not wearing this club uniform. Drayton then invites me to have a cafeteria date with him. A what?
Hop in Daddy's new whip.
Excuse me?
Who's talking to me?
Oh.
Carmen, of course, is jealous and tries to one-up Drayton by forcing me into my room alone with her. There's something I need to tell you.
Maybe I don't hate you as much as I thought, okay? I guess maybe I even kind of
like you a little. Heck, I guess you might even kind of say that I like you a lot.
Bros before hoes, Carmen. While Drayton and I were chilling, the rest of the Elite Four entered the cafeteria. Kieran was asked by Drayton to join him here, to force him into a conversation with me. Huh? Andrew? How did you not see me sitting right here, Kieran? Anyways, I guess I'm actually not technically a real member of the league yet, until the Elite Four and Champion vote on it. Lacey and the other girl are being sticklers, voting against me joining the club. Thankfully, the boys, including Kieran, outnumber them. And Kieran has more authority than them all since he's the president. For example, the front desk wouldn't register me until Kieran stepped in to tell her to do otherwise. Although Kieran is creeping me out with his smile, he must really want me to defeat the Elite Four so we can have our first rematch since Kitakami. I go challenge Crispin first, since he seemed to be the lowest rank of the four. Unlike typical Pokemon leagues, I'll need to complete their Elite Trial first in order to earn the chance to battle them. Yet they're as childish as ever as I'm tasked with gathering ingredients for a spicy sandwich. In order to get said ingredients, I have to beat the crap out of little children to force them to hand over the goods. Sick of my team being underleveled, I decided after beating Crispin, I was going to recreate my team with Mons that actually have synergy with each other. For now, I continued the grind of trading ingredients with the resident trainers until I had everything I needed to make the spicy sandwich. And to be honest, I can't remember the last time I made a meal in this game. I think I did it once, and that was when the game came out over a year ago. The controls are whack and the animation is even worse. I know you didn't take a bite, Crispin. By some miracle, I actually somehow passed. Then begin the battle with Crispin. Hold up, he's cooking. 2 fire types immune to ground attacks? He has a full team of 6 Pokemon? And they have held items? That's sick! This league is a lot more legit than I ever thought it would be. I'm gonna need a new team right now. Unfortunately, most of my Mons I've been using lately are level 100. That would take away the fun. Deep in my box, though, I found my team I used back in the first competitive season of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and they were all well below the average trainer level here. The only substitute I made was replacing Vivillon with an event-distributed Grimmsnarl. I then trained them all up to level 70, which was still 7 below Crispin's starting duo, but I was confident in my competitively trained team. I commanded Hariyama to fake out Talonflame, flinching them and burning us in the process. Rotom tried to stop whatever Oranguru was up to, but it was too late. The orangutan sets up Trick Room. Now for the next 4 turns, my slower, underleveled Pokemon would move first. On top of that, Hariyama's burn status doubles his attack power thanks to their Guts ability. Thus, one Rock Slide knocks out Talonflame, and then he gets to Rock Slide again because of Oranguru's Instruct, which prompts my fighting type to attack again the same turn. Crispin continues to show that the Blueberry Elite Four are no pushovers when he summons his Exeggutor, which proves even more how well balanced their teams are compared to the average Pokemon League. That Desert Palm Tree retaliates with Psyshock, obliterating my Hariyama with a single attack. Well, it's a good thing I brought my own Fire-type Torkoal to burn Crispin's Exeggutor to a crisp. Sure, my Tortoise gets knocked out right after from Camerup's Earth power, but they fulfilled their duty. Mudsdale put out the rest of my fire opponents with high horsepowers, one for each one of them, slamming them back into Crispin's Pokeballs, winning us the first battle of the Elite Four. Yo, champ in the making! Ah, I see Drayton has been playing Pokemon Red or Blue lately. He then congratulated me, then I was off to the next Elite Four member, Amaris. Not gonna lie, I'm afraid she's gonna smack me with a T-pose when I least expect it. Her Elite Trial was a lot simpler and went a lot faster. All I had to do was fly through some rings with Miraidon. Thank the heavens it's not like Ogre Oustin from the Teal Mask, although I do wish the controls were inverted. Anyhow, Amaris checks her archaic pocket watch, then begins our battle. Knowing she specialized in steel types, I led with Lilligant and Torkoal this time. The latter sets up the sun when brought into battle, which doubles Lilligant's speed, thanks to her Chlorophyll ability. With her newfound quickness, she uses the move After You on her buddy Torkoal to, well, go right after her. This normally is a busted strategy, but unfortunately, Skarmory has the ability Sturdy and Dugtrio's holding a Focus Sash, leaving them both at 1 HP. Torkoal then almost died to the Earthquake. We can use Eruption one more time to get rid of them, but we'll have to switch to Heat Wave later since Eruption's power is based off of current HP. Scizor is quad weak, so they faint of course, but so does my Lilligant from the Empoleon's Ice Beam. With her gone, my Torkoal is back to being a Slowpoke, so I have him protect this turn turn while Rangaroo twisted our dimension with Trick Room, giving Torkoal a speed advantage again. I thought this meant Torkoal was going to pull off 2 heat waves in a single turn. However, Ameris' Reuniclus was slower than a Rangaroo, which meant they attacked with Psychic before my monkey could instruct Torkoal. Mudsdale would then KO Empoleon, but then suffered a Psychic Blast from Reuniclus. My trusty steed's held item is Life Orb, which makes attacks 30% more powerful in exchange for 10% of HP after each use. So when she high horsepowered the green blob to 0, she went down as well. No worries though. Hariyama's close combat is super effective against Metagross, winning us the battle. Drayton congratulates me again and Kieran appears as well, to make sure I hadn't gotten weaker. Will you stop smiling like that? Lacey was up next along with her elite trial being a quiz. Nerd. Actually, she's adorable. Look at her wiggling her fingers at the Pikachu.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Her questions are relatively simple, ranging from pointing out Venonat's radar eyes, finding the difference with an antique Sinistea, keeping track of Miniors, and what part of Grunbull she uses as a pillow. Now to see if I can impress her with my battling skills. Instead of leading Torkoal with Lilligant like last time, I went with the Rangaroo to set up the Trick Room right away. Except for some reason, I was being dumb and didn't protect Torkoal the first turn, leaving him wide open to be struck by a stomping tantrum from Granbull, weakening Eruption. Not to mention the light screen Whimsicott placed earlier. Well, Trick Room's up now, so Lacey's Mons are screwed now. Torkoal, Terrestrialize! Now double Heat Wave attack!
Miss.
How could you miss? It was 3 feet from you!
That was terribly unlucky. Granbull survives because of it and knocks out my Terra after only 1 use. I work with the remaining Trick Room turns I have, getting revenge with Hariyama and flinching Primarina in the process. Galarian Slowbro is Lacey's 4th Mon, and she don't give an F about Trick Room. Their quick draw ability, if lucky, can proc Slowbro to attack first, no matter what. After taking out Primarina, Slowbro also one-shotted Hariyama with Psychic, who then gets a power increase from Alcrumi's Decorate support move. So rather than prioritizing Trick Room since it expired, I shifted Lilligant to die in Hariyama's place, then have a Rangaroo expel Slowbro with a super effective foul play. With Lacey's biggest threat gone, I have Hariyama sacrifice himself with Fake Out to enable a Rangaroo to set up a second Trick Room. Then I bring in Mudsdale to wipe out the rest of them with high horsepowers. 3 down, 1 to go. Did you see our Pokemon battling it out? Yes. I was there, remember? They were so cute, even for me. You're the cutest, Lacey. Nope, wrong. We're not talking about me. We're talking about my Pokemon. Dang, she shut me down quick. At least I got Carmen as a backup girlfriend. Hey, Drayton. Bye, Drayton. Hello again, Drayton. You're the last Elite Four member, so what's the trial? I can only use Pokemon that were caught in the terrarium? I have to defeat 3 trainers with the B team? This is gonna take forever. Oh, only 2 Pokemon. I take that back. This is a cakewalk, especially the 2nd and 3rd trainers who both got demolished by a single Earthquake in just 1 turn. Before I knew it, the fight with Drayton was on, and I had the A-team back in the party. Now, if I wasn't lazy, I would have put an Ice type on the squad, but we got this. Lilligant and Torkoal both have poor matchups to Dragon types, so they're just here to kick things off. Freaking Dragonite, though, has extreme speed, hitting Torkoal before Lilligant could help with After You. Flygon Fire Punches, and she is out of there. Rangaroo comes in to do the whole song and dance of Trick Room while Torkoal protects. But once again, Dragonite don't care about no Trick Room with extreme speed. At least Flygon died from the next eruption. Drayton sends in Kingdra after that, to which I pull back Torkoal because that Seahorse quad resists fire. Now Hariyama has something even faster than extreme speed. Fake Out. So long, chump. Now take out Kingdra with close combat and Sceptile to... nuts, they survived. Almost had it, Hariyama, but you fought well for us. We'll let their own Haxorus be dumb and kill off the grass starter for us with Earthquake. Now who's your ace, Drayton? Archaludon? The bridge Pokemon looks like he's in pain. Sure, go boost your special attack. Torkoal will demolish you with Earth Powers, completing our challenge of the Blueberry Elite Four. Took you a while to beat the Elite Four. Kinda slow for you, isn't it? That's it. I will not be mocked by some kid who couldn't even hold his own back in Kitakami. Let's do this right now. Winner gets the title of Blueberry Champion. Before we start, Kieran rambles on about how all of his training and path to becoming the champion was to get revenge on me. Right here, right now. Dragonite and Politoed, huh? That's a pretty good lead. However, my Torkoal is the slowest, meaning his Harsh Sun cancels out Politoed's Rain. And just in case you get any tricky ideas for Rain later on, I'll pull out my Torkoal for now. Lilligant, dissect the frog with Leaf Storm! No! You missed! And now you're dead because of Politoed's Sunny Weather Ball? Well, that Harsh Sun really came back to bite me. How do you like that? See how hard I've trained? Not like the kid you battled in Kitakami, huh? Alright, plan B. Hariyama, fake out to protect Oranguru so she can set up the Trick Room. Now double Rock Slide with the power of Oranguru's Instruct. Watch out for that Ice Beam. Hang in there. You've got to be freaking kidding me. Kieran uses the most broken doubles Pokemon of all time? Incineroar? This kid really does mean business. Hariyama, I need you at full power. Let's bring in Mudsdale. Ooh, that's not good. Oh, no, that's really not good. Hariyama, come back, come back. I don't want to find out what that cat is capable of. And Politoed is even assisting with a helping hand. Use close combat right now. Yes, let's freaking go. Oranguru, use Instruct. Hariyama, close combat again. That's what I'm freaking talking about. Okay, who's next? Grimmsnarl and Porygon Z. Kieran commands the former to put up a Reflect, but that won't be enough to save Porygon from a close combat. Now let's see what you've saved for last, Kieran. Hydrapple. How fitting. Okay, we're out of Trick Room, and he has 2 Mons weak to Fairy, so let's bring my own shiny Grimmsnarl. Well, mine is also weak to Fairy, so that Spirit Break hurt pretty bad after Hydrapple terastallized into a fighting type. Grimmsnarl is also Fairy type, making them immune to their Fickle Beam. Hello again, Trick Room. The following turn, I mean to double attack with Spirit Break, but I messed up my Instruct because Oranguru is slower, meaning she moved first, causing it to fail. At least the monkey lived, and Grimmsnarl pulled off a punch this turn. We continue going back and forth with the foul plays, Terra Blasts, and Spirit Breaks until my Grimmsnarl faints. This looks like an excellent time for my Terra-boosted Torkoal's Eruptions. Again! It's over, Kieran. I am the new champion of the Blueberry Academy. Kieran, you okay, dude? You look like you just got obliterated from a Yu-Gi-Oh match. Way to go, both of you. That was awesome. Crispin, read the room, would you?
Why? What I do wrong?
Drayton gives me a Master Ball as a reward. Kieran is still mumbling to himself. And Lacey states that if I stay as champion, Crispin will be knocked out of the Elite Four. However, we're saved by the bell from Lacey's logistics talk, with the announcement that a few of us needed to see Miss Briar. She's inviting us 4 to go with her on an expedition to Area 0 to investigate the terrestrial phenomenon and hopes to find the legendary Pokemon Terrapagos. Drayton chickens out. Kieran failed to obtain Ogerpon for himself last time, so he's definitely in. And of course, Carmen is going if I am. Gita and Rika also made a brief appearance to hand me the Indigo disc, which was provided by a researcher and investor some time ago. Anywho, together we travel back to Paldea and enter Area 0. Miss Briar's Violet book mentions depths that go even deeper than the encounters I had with Professors Sada and Toro. Since I'm the only one with experience traversing this area, I lead the way down to as far as I've been before. The door into the lab, however, has been locked ever since I saved Paldea over a year ago. It's a good thing I'm the main character with plot armor and the Indigo disc I literally just got 5 seconds ago. Voila! The door is opening, albeit with some bad frame rate. Nevertheless, we're in. It's way too dark in here. I just smacked my head on something. Meanwhile, Miss Briar is obsessed with going down. Down, you say? This elevator just keeps going further and further down. That's what elevators do.
Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time.
Make fun of her all you want, but that Indigo disc did bring us far deeper than any destination I've been to in Area 0. Furthermore, these big crystals are blocking our progress of delving deeper into the caves. Miss Briar says we need to neutralize nearby terrestrial energy like from that Glamora in order to progress further. What makes it different is it possesses the Stellar Terra typing, a terrestrialization that gives an attack boost for every type, once per type, per battle. However, it has no defensive benefits, as you can see here. Taking care of that Glamora eliminated the huge crystals blocking our path, thus continuing our journey downward. More crystals appear in our way, which means more Stellar Terra Pokemon to eliminate. We go through this process a few times, face a few different opponents, and even Miss Briar apologizes that I'm doing all the work. No, you're not. I'm being exploited for child labor. Carmen tries to defend herself, claiming to fend off wild Pokemon, but I'm not buying it. A few minutes later, we made it to the end, and what lied at the bottom of the depths was a Zelda rupee? Kieran darts at it and begins pulling, seeing it as his only way to beat me. Andrew has everything I've ever wanted. He's got strong Pokemon, can go anywhere, is friendly, has a girlfriend.
I'm trying to find a girlfriend.
Back issues, depression. Wait, Kieran, don't do it! You don't want everything I have? He even has you, sis! Don't forget your mom. Briar's book confirms this crystal is Terapagos. It begins reacting, floats into the air, then transforms into its turtle form. Aw, what a cute little guy. You're mine! Well, that wasn't fair, but whatever, you caught it, and he's yours now. Kieran then immediately challenges me to a Pokemon battle with Terapagos as his only party member. You sure you want to do this, kid? Okay. Kieran wonders how he could have lost with a legendary Pokemon, and Briar actually has an answer. Its terrestrial energy output is far too low. What Kieran should have done was terastalize it. So he gives it a go. Bright colorful crystals emerge from its body, indicating Terapagos is now in its fully awakened form. He also broke free from Kieran's control and attacks the boy. Then for better or worse, Miraidon saves him. Kieran tries to retrieve Terapagos, but the attempt is in vain and breaks his Master Ball. We're in serious danger now, so it's up to Carmen and I to save us. Kieran is being absolutely useless. Oh, hold on. Carmen's Sinistcha is now dead. I'm on my own. The rest of the encounter is very routine. Mudsdale puts Terapagos in place with a Terra-powered high horsepower. Terapagos then absorbs Mudsdale's Terra energy mid-battle, and a few turns later, my horse regains her terastallization, breaking Terapagos once again. Halfway through, Kieran overcomes his doubts. Then with the power of teamwork and a few revives to just get this over with, Kieran's Dragonite performs the finishing move, shrinking Terapagos back to its basic form. While he was doing that, I prepped a Premier Ball so that way Kieran doesn't steal the legendary from me again, successfully catching the treasured Pokemon. We were now safe and sound, but Carmen's anger needed to blame someone. I mean, Miss Briar would have been held responsible if we died, so I guess she has a point. On our way back to Blueberry Academy, Kieran and I finally made up and ran back to school as the sun set. What a transition to the post-game, Director Cyrano. And what a load of work you're shoving onto me. He wants me to start inviting special coaches to the Blueberry Academy at the vast price of 200 BP for each visit. First of all, why do I have to pay for them to come over here? Second, this is gonna take one heck of a grind, having to rematch all of these trainers. And third, it's not over when you beat them. All you get for winning is some lame prize, and the realization you have to do something else. That's something else being re-inviting them 3 separate times to have 3 different conversations with them. I'ma need more BP. Not to mention, there's an entire support board that's hungry for BP as well, along with 4 biome upgrades that are necessary to add starters to the Terarium, and the true secret boss. On my way out, I ran into Amaris, who gave Miraidon the permanent ability to fly in order for us to attempt more flying time trials. There were 4 courses of varying difficulties, ranging from easy to super hard. I'll just skip straight to the latter because you all didn't click this video to watch me complete a stupid minigame for 15 minutes. Also, the flying feels a little slow, so let's speed things up. The controls were a little whack at first because they were set to normal rather than inverted, while the camera itself felt inverted. I changed the setting after a failed attempt, but even with that fix, I would get stuck if my character was ever at the wrong angle. Left would become right, right would become left, then they'd reverse again. It's frustrating as heck, and even cost me a fail once. Somehow on this attempt though, I recovered and still beat the super hard course. Now where was I? Ah yes, the grind for BP. I teamed up with 3 strangers from Discord because doing quests together online would rack up points much faster. Completing enough blue quests would unlock red quests, some of which forced me to do things I've never done in a Pokemon game before, like washing your Pokemon. I didn't even know this was a feature until now. During my grind, I came across this NPC who gave me the power to synchronize with my Pokemon. This looks cool at first, but all you do is fight in place of auto battles. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of controlling my favorite Pokemon as much as the next guy. Just wish there was more to it. Anyways, back to earning some BP. Hey, look, a shiny! What I was going to say next is completing enough red quests would unlock gold quests, such as finding 5 Ditto blocks. Scouting these little purple buggers out felt torturous at times because they could be anywhere. Anything for 600 points though, am I right? I preferred the easier ones that would give each player a hint of a certain Pokemon to catch, but also hated the really annoying ones like making sandwiches as a group. Over 4 hours of grinding later, I had attained enough to upgrade the biomes, then got back to inviting special coaches. 3 visits from each one would instigate a trade for a Pokemon that wore a partner ribbon showing it had once belonged to a great trainer. These trades filled out the rest of their profiles, which also gave them a gold outline around their picture. This process would also spark interesting conversations in the league club room. Crispin once tried asking out my girl Lacey, but his nerves got the best of him. Grusha then confronted Iono stating her older content was better. Hold on, did they put my hardcore Nuzlocke viewers in this DLC? For real though, sometimes it's just healthy not to read the comments. I continue visiting and trading, then unlock more coaches. Over time, I earn a gold border for each of them, but some coaches are still missing. However, it happened to be enough to unlock the secret final boss named Saffron, who turns out to be Director Cyrano. Now, after all those special coach battles, my whole party had almost reached level 100. So for this finale, I wanted to use the team I had first entered the Blueberry Academy with. I really wanted to face Kieran with Ogerpon, but this will have to do. You may be wondering, why the heck did I bring a Clefairy to this final battle? Don't let that fairy shrimp fool you. Clefairy is one of the best support Pokemon to exist in this game. With the move Follow Me, she can redirect attacks towards her while Ogerpon lays down the Hammer Ivy Cudgel. Unfortunately, this turn, Zebstrika and Mandibuzz attacked with Bulldoze and Snarl respectively, spread attacks that ignore redirection. However, with Clefairy's Friend Guard ability, Ogerpon receives 25% less damage. Then on the next turn, my Ogre smashes the Zebra to dust, followed by Clefairy aiming a heal pulse at her, restoring them back to full health. Ogerpon then proceeded to smash Mandibuzz again, this time knocking them out. Later, Urshifu joined the fray to watch Samurott to get their life sucked out of them by a Hornleech, then made a move himself, surging, striking Emboar to 0 HP. Gothitelle suffered the same fate from Ogerpon for not leaving her swamp, and Urshifu finished off the director by KOing his Terra Rock superior with a couple critical hits. Cyrano names me the Blueberry King, which I like the sound of, then offers a trade of his own. Another freaking shiny Blitzel? You're kidding me! I just caught one of those 5 seconds ago, and that's the free shiny the game gives me? Whatever, I'll chat anyone with a yellow speech bubble for now to find out what to do next. I searched throughout the academy until I found this old man just chilling outside. Once again, I was rewarded for completing all those quests I had spent hours on. This man rewards me with 25 different treats to seek out 25 legendary Pokemon in the terrarium. That actually reminds me, I never covered when Miss Briar wanted a word with me after our expedition. So let's focus on this legendary related task right now. She wrote a book about our discoveries, but omitted our names from it. You're giving me no credit for risking my life?
I gave myself extra credit.
She gives me a copy of her book, yada yada yada, go to the Crystal Pool in Kitakami. Fine, I'll do it for Terapagos. Looks like he wanted to flex his stellar terrestrialization here. Or something totally different. Is this another robot created by the AI from Area Zero? No, this Professor Turo is the real deal. Except Terapagos brought him from the past, which makes sense because he's dead now. I don't tell him that, of course, but we do talk about his son Arvin, and I show him the book Miss Briar wrote. Turns out she's a descendant of the author of the original Violet book. Shows how much I pay attention. Anyways, we exchange books, then bid each other farewell as he's taken back to the past. Well, that brought about more questions than answers, so I'm just gonna focus on what I do best by filling out the rest of the Pokedex, beginning with the starters. I continued this along with trading version exclusives, which eventually got me the Pokedex entry reward Metal Alloy. When given to Duraludon, the dragon evolves into its new evolution form Archaludon. Speaking of dragons, I taught a Diplin of mine Dragon and cheer that I got for beating Drayton a while back, evolving my harmless Candy Apple into Hydra Apple. The starters were the only ones left that needed to be leveled up, and what the heck happened to Venusaur's face?
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
That nearly completes my entire Blueberry Pokedex with the exception of 4 missing entries near the end of it. I got a feeling we're going to need some help from Perrin, who recently got a job here as a photographer. After catching 200 Pokemon for the Terarium Dex, Perrin says I've earned myself a hot tip from her. Ooh, yes, baby. Photos? Why did I get my hopes up? Looks like their new Paradox Pokemon back in Area 0. Well, back to this old stink again to find Pokemon from the future. The first of the two being Iron Crown. I show this robotic Cobalion who's boss and catch it shortly after. I dive deep into Paldea's crater and search for the second one. And before you know it, I run into Iron Boulder. Nothing new here. Caught it in a matter of minutes. I show Perrin in hopes of impressing her, but she comments how built they are. Hey, I can give you a man like that if you want. She ignores me and hands over a sport ball instead. Can't blame a guy for trying. At least I was finally able to complete the Blueberry Pokedex by trading over the ancient paradoxes. It's funny because Cyrano congratulates me on catching all 240 species in the terrarium, when 4 of them were in fact in Paldea. Nonetheless, I earned the Mark Charm and a diploma certifying my great feat. Now, if only I can figure out the missing coaches. Turns out, I never finished all my classes in Violet. In Scarlet, I got them all done, but I didn't want to go through it all again for the lousy reward of 5 medium rare candies. Well, I ended up doing it again and unlocked everyone, save for 3 that are locked behind events. Just one last side quest remained before catching legendaries, helping these 2 nerds out back at Paldea's Academy. Huh? That's Giacomo? And this is Eri? I'm sure that was obvious.
Where your clothes at?
Ortega and Atticus also look a lot different trying to behave at school. Since they missed a lot of school during their rebellious days, I'm here to help tutor them in preparation for makeup tests. Mela comes around as well, but even without her ginormous boots, she's walking like she still has them on.
Boots are made for walking.
Penny drops by as well to help me teach them. To show their thanks, they gave me some Team Star swag, including this helmet, to cover up my dumb haircut. However, the outfit I wanted the most was Drayton's, so I rematched him with my Ogerpon and Clefairy lead, swept his entire team, then put on the luxurious black and gold tracksuit. Now, finally, on to the legendaries. I'm only going to cover 1 of the 26, because this method was so whack. I saw so many people trying to figure it out online, and I gotta give credit to the community for figuring this out. You have to spend 10 to 20 seconds in this exact area in the midst of a whirlwind of leaves. Finish the spin while facing this direction, pull out the camera, switch to the sepia filter, then listen. Turn around 180 degrees and there's Meloetta. Jeez, how did anyone figure that out? My other question is, why is Lugia just big chillin' in the middle of the sea? Anyways, that's how I 100%ed Pokemon Scarlet and Violet the Indigo disc. If you made it this far, why not support the video by liking it and subscribing to the channel? Then there's my Instagram for more personal supplementary content. You all have a good one. Thanks.